Hi. In a typical machine learning cycle, data analysis is a critical and most time consuming step in the entire process. If you say data is our knowledge of our business, then data analysis is basically understanding of the knowledge and generating insights out of the knowledge. Now, typically in a data analysis cycle, we do multiple steps. We generate descriptive statistics to get bigger picture of our data. We do inferential statistics to validate distribution of data set. We do multivariate analysis to validate trends and correlation. We perform exploratory data analysis. We check data quality and data cleansing rules. We also get understanding of what kind of transformations we need to apply, or what are the feature engineering that we need to do on the data, so that we can basically pass it on to a further modeling cycle or to any data engineering cycle, right? So we do a lot of activity during this process, and sometimes this activity can take days or weeks to complete. So what I'm going to show in this video is how we can accelerate the data analysis cycle with a set of packages that are readily available. Now, this is not going to do a complete data analysis, but what it can do is it can take some part of the analysis cycle and simplify it for us so that we can go and further iterate on it. So to demonstrate it, I'm going to show three different packages. I'm going to show SweetWiz, which is again a data analysis package. We just all of these are just few lines of code that we run and generate a report which we can use for analysis. And next I'm going to show pandas profiling. While it is pretty simple tool available, it generates a lot of insights that are very handy and helpful. Then finally, I'm going to talk about AutoVis. So these three tools I'm going to talk about. I have already installed it. What I'm doing is I'm basically importing the set of a package. I'm using Pandas for loading the data set. SweetWiz, Pandas profiling, and AutoVis are different packages that I'm going to demonstrate today, and that's what I am importing. The data set that we are going to use is basically called the Ohm equity line data set. It's available in this particular URL, creditriskanalytics.net. You can directly use this URL, or you can download from here and use it. So it's part of like the Credit Risk Analytics book, I think. This part of it, this data set is available there. I'm just loading it into Pandas, and these are the set of columns that are available. Basically, this is the target column, bad, which says basically that particular customer has defaulted on the loan. If it's 1, 0, the loan is completely paid. Basically, this is used for loan default purpose, to understand whether the customer will default on the loan or not. And there are a lot of attributes that are contributing to it. So you have the loan amount, you have the mortgage due value, and there are other basically variables that are very critical in the loan default application, in the loan sanctioning application. One is the debt to income ratio. So typically when we go on a bank, the bank will check how much debt we have in total and what is our income. Typically 40% to 45% is a good number, below which the bank gives loan out, but above that, bank considered as a risky loan, right? And similarly, that is how much credit lines do we have. If we have too many credit lines, too many credit card, too many loans, then the probability of default is also pretty high, right? So those are one thing. Then number of credit inquiries that we are making. So if you are going on and making multiple credit inquiries frequently, that means we are always looking for money. So that can also raise some suspicion on the default probability, right? Similarly, there are other one, number of delinquent credit lines. Basically, how many other credit lines that are there today that we have started being delinquent. That means we are not paid on time, we are delayed, or we are even charged off, right? And the other one variable that we typically use, that number of major derogatory reports. This tells whether we have filed any bankruptcy, or are we late on any other payment, and other aspect of it. So these are some variables that they check to predict whether the loan will get defaulted or not. That is the bad variable, right? Now this is not a home loan, it is a home equity loan. So basically what home equity loan is, it's an loan on top of your home, and if you see, the value is your value of the current property, and mortgage due is the how much loan you due on that particular house, right? So now what may happen, you may have a house which is worth $1 million, but you may have only loan of 100,000. So between the $1 million to 100,000, you can go and tap onto your home equity and apply for a loan. This is considered very secured loan, because in case if you're not able to pay, the bank has the right to take away the house. and that's why the interest rates are pretty low. At the same time, if you take the other loan, like where you take a credit card or other loans, they are considered unsecured, because if a client charges off, they will try their means to recover it, but they don't have any collateral for that, right? So that's what it is. So this is home equity loan. These are the variables. Now what I'm going to do is I will quickly visualize the data, and let's see how we can generate insights from the data with few lines of code using three different tools. So this is how the data looks like. You can see you have the bad variable, which says whether the loan is defaulted or not, and then you have basically the mortgage due, loan amount, value. As I said, the value minus mortgage due is basically your home equity. You can go for and apply for additional loan as well on the difference, right? And other thing is basically the variables, which I said, derogatory, delinquency, and client age, and other things, right? So the very first package I'm going to use is the SweetWiz. In the SweetWiz, what I do is I have imported SweetWiz already, and I'm calling the analyze method. I am passing the data frame that is on the top, and then I'm telling my target feature as bad. Now the target feature is not mandatory. So what you can do is you can ignore this one and it will just generate a report. But if you give a target feature, it will show like each and every variable and how the target feature influences that particular variable. So you can, rather than doing like a separate analysis on your individual variable against the target, it will generate a report for you on that. You can ignore this as well. Then you will get only the statistics. It's more kind of a univariate statistics you will get if you don't give this particular target feature. And then what I'm doing is I'm just telling show notebook once I call this. So what this is going to do is it's going to basically run for this data set, and it's going to show the output in the notebook. The other thing what we can do is, if you see basically it's showing all this information. The other thing what we can also do is I can also save it as a HTML file. So when I say like loan report.show HTML, it will create a file called SweetWiz report. It's .html over here. And if you go to your local file where the notebook is running, you can see this particular report, SweetWiz underscore report.html, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that HTML and show how the report looks like. Both are similar. Either you can check in the notebook, or you can basically create a report and see it as a HTML file. Right? I prefer to see it as HTML file. Now this is how the report looks like. You can see all your variables lined up here. There are some kind of statistics here which shows the max, 95%, median, and everything. And on the top you can see like how many rows are there, how many duplicates are there, and then basically the categorical feature, numerical feature, all the information about the data set. If you click on association, it will show a table like this, that like on the right hand side, which tells all the relationship, or more like a correlation between variables. So whatever you see on the square is nothing but the categorical association between different variables, or categorical correlation. And what you see as a circle is basically numerical correlation, right? So you can see everything, and what the color signifies the basically how correlated these variables are, right? So that's what it signifies. And you can see everything over here. You can see the color, more darker blue it is, you can see the it's highly correlated. So this shows you a table where you can quickly check how the different variables are correlated, both for categorical. In our case, if you see basically the reason and job, these two columns are categorical values, and bad is also a categorical value, but it's a target as well. So you can see how does bad correlate to job and reason, and not much correlation is there. At the same time, the mortgage due and value is highly correlated, and the reason is because your value of the property also determines your mortgage that the bank can provide, right? So these are highly correlated. And debt inc is highly correlated with bad. The more the debt to income ratio is, the higher the probability the loan may turn out bad. And you can see basically that correlation is also depicted over here, right? So that is the association part. Now coming to your other individual values, you can basically click on bad is the target value, and that's why it's showing in black in color. And you can see like how much is the value. Most or 80% of our data is of customers who are not defaulted, and around 20% is the customer who are defaulted. You can see the ratio as well here, and the top category is 0. And if you go basically to your right hand side, you can also see the correlation of this bad with other categorical values, job and reason, how the correlation is. And also you can see like basically how they are with other variables, right? Correlation with other numerical variables. You can see everything, and you can do that for each and every value. You can see it. It will also show you there's a missing value or how many distinct values are there. If there's a missing value, it will show like, okay, the missing value, if you say in the case of mortgage due, there are 9% missing value. But in case of other variables, it will also show the relationship with the target. So take in this case the loan amount, right? The loan amount, if you see, basically these are all this the different basically buckets of your loan amount target column, and you can see the line that passes through tells the bad ratio, right? It tells you, it correlates with the target. So in this case, like in the case of 0 to some say 5k, you have like 30% which are bad, and the 80k and above, basically 40% of the loans are bad, right? It just shows you relation. The best variable to visualize both is the debt to income ratio, which I told you is very critical for the loan determination. If you see here, as the value is lower, you see like lower bad ratio. But as the debt to income ratio becomes higher, you see basically the bad ratio is pretty higher over here. So it shows kind of an association between that. And you can also like move to your right hand side and see how these variables are correlated. If you see the debt to income, it is correlated with bad 0.42, which is like kind of decent correlation. And similarly, what are the other variables it is correlated with? You can see that as well, right? Now you can go and check all the missing values and everything. Now one thing with this is, while it gives you a lot of information, pretty good information, it does not tell me like, okay, the missing value, right? In this case, the missing value, which category does it pertain to? Does it pertain to more like bad loans or good loans? So it does not tell me that information. And that's where the second tool which I'm going to show you explains it. I'm going to go there, but it's pretty decent. All the columns have same information. You can check the most frequent value, the smallest value, largest value, all the association with the different variables on the right hand side. You can go into individual values and you can pretty much get a lot of details in this tool. Now let me go to the second one. The second one I'm going to talk about is AutoVis. Now let me run the AutoVis class. Basically what I'm doing is I'm calling the AutoVis class and creating an loan underscore AB variable, and then from there I'm just calling the loan AV dot AutoVis. You can either provide a file name or you can provide a data frame. Here I'm providing a data frame which I have on the top. I'm telling my dependent variable is the bad column, right? I can, if you want to draw a regression line, you can make it true. I made it false, and it's just telling the chart format. So once I run this one, it's basically going to give me a lot of information. If you see over here, it's going to tell me like how many numerical columns are there, how many categorical columns are there. It's going to give me quite a good number of information. It gives me a summary of for loan, how many unique values are there, what are the most common values, how many null values are there. It gives me all this information. It also gives me like individual values against the target, right? Now for a typical example, let's go back to the variable basically derog, right? If you see, it says like one, the more the derogatory is there in the report, that means if they are filed for bankruptcy or they have defaulted, the higher the possibility of the loan being bad. And you can easily see it in the delinquency. The number of delinquency higher customers are more probable to default, right? So this gives you a pretty good visualization of that. And if you keep scrolling down, it will give you a lot of chart, but specifically on the null values, right? If you see over here in what we saw in SweetWiz, reason had null values, but it did not show any kind of association with the target. It just said it had missing values. But in this case, if you see, basically reason has two categories, that is debt consolidation and home improvement. And you can see basically what is the number of bad loans in each category. Not only that, wherever there's a missing value, it is also showing that what is the basically default category in that missing value. This gives me good insight to understand how I can impute the missing value. In case like if the distribution of missing value is pretty higher in default, then I may create one more value called other. If it does not really like signify a lot, I can just impute it to the maximum category. So I can I can also apply with business knowledge, but I'm just giving an example. And similarly, job also, you can see it has a missing value, the first column, which says 0, and you can see like how the bad loans impact based on the job reason, right? And if you see sales column over here, the sales column, if you basically see like looks like it has the lowest value, but almost like 40%, if you can just see by the density of the number of ones here. Looks like sales people in sales, like I tend to default more, right? It gives you that, it gives you all the different distribution of target variables, it gives you blocks plot to see outliers and everything. So if you see for particular debt to income ratio or any other variable, right? Let's take in the case of debt to income ratio, okay. So wherever there is a 1, the if you see basically basically like the debt to income ratio is pretty high, but in case of 0, the debt to income ratio stops between 40 to 50. There are a lot of outliers in case of bad loans who have higher debt to income ratio, and that's the natural. If you're giving people loan with higher debt to income ratio, the chances of probability are higher, and you take, yeah, those risky loans are still being given by bank. The reason is they charge high interest rate, right? That's how they kind of mitigate that risk. And typically in home equity line and all, your house is a collateral, so bank does not lose much, even though they have to go through a lengthy cycle of going to litigation and other things, but still their loan are secured, right? So you can also see like heat map of all the correlation. There are a lot of information, you can actually run it and see. I just want to give a quick gist on how it, if you typically see all the descriptive statistics, all the target correlation, the missing value, how I can handle the data are easily done with this couple of tools. Now I can go further, I can go and understand between my dependent variable how the data is, what kind of I can create a cross tab or other things to go and visualize further. But this gives a good head start for us to really go and build our data analysis cycle. The final one I'm going to talk about is basically the pandas profiler. So for pandas profiler, I'm just calling the profile report method, and I'm passing the data frame, and then I am just giving a title to the data frame, and then I'm just giving explorative is equal to true. So once I have the profile object created, I can either create to notebook iframe. If I create to notebook iframe, it's going to run it in your local and display in the notebook itself. What I can also do is I can just say profile.toFile to an HTML file. So I get a report out of it. So once this runs, it's going to kind of take the report and save it in my local directory or any directory path that you give, right? That's what it's going to do. Now, once it generates the report, you can see the report in the iframe itself. Let's just give it some time. But I already like kind of downloaded the report over here, and you can see basically it gives a report like this. And in this case, it's going to generate a report in the local. I have already kind of downloaded the report, and this is the report. This is how the report looks like. It gives you a pretty good information on number of variables, missing cell percentage, the missing cells, duplicate rows, what is the total size, number of categoricals value, boolean value, and everything. In the warning, it gives you all the columns that has missing value or 0 values. So you can see basically, okay, YOG, year of joining, as 7% zeros, Derog as 76% zeros. And this is pretty common. This is not like an wrong data, right? Basically, a lot of customer will not have any derogatory at all. They may be good on loan, and it is pretty valid. So you can see where it is valid and where it is not valid. It gives a quick summary of that, right? On the top, you can see it will give an overview, which you are seeing now. It will also give you a variable level information. If I click on this, it's going to give me for the bad, it has 2 distinct values. What is the missing percentage, how the distribution looks like. You can click on toggle details to get more details about it. You can see basically over here, my data set, most of the value are from bad 0, which is non-defaulted customers, and that accounts for 80.1%, and other accounts for 19.9%. If you go to chart, it will show you a complete chart on how it looks like. if you come down for numerical value, it will, if you click on toggle detail, it will show you the same as well. It will show you the fifth percentile, median, 95th percentile, IQ, or what was interquartile range, and all these things, and also give you the skewness and other details of this, right? And you see, if you see over here, this data is particularly right skewed, right? Like while most of the distribution are centered around like the 20,000 to 40,000 range, or 20,000 is where the peak is, but there are a lot of extreme values as well, right? You can go to histogram and check the same thing in a larger graph. There are common values which are there in the, and there are extreme values in case if you want to do outlier handling. This can be a good example depending on your business context, where you can come and check. So this is going to, similarly for other columns, it's going to give you all the information. If there are a lot of missing values, it's going to highlight in red in color. Again, if you come down, there will be zero. Here there is both missing and zero values, right? So it gives us all this information. If we go on the top, it will show interaction between the variables. You can select which variable you want to see interaction. It will show the interaction with the variables. It will show correlation between the variables. This is an correlation graph which does a Pearson correlation, but for categorical values, this is for mostly for numerical values. It does with the bad and target and everything, and because the target is not a complete continuous value, but you can see how the data is correlated. And in the case of basically categorical correlation, you can click on Kramer's V. In Kramer's way, you can see like how reason and job is correlated. Basically, the more darker it is highly correlated. Reason is highly correlated because it's correlated to itself, so you can ignore the diagonal part. But if you take the other two, you can get an idea how correlated they are, right? And you can also get the missing value details on the top. And finally, a sample rows on how this rows looks like, the first row and the last rows. So what you're seeing is basically multiple ways of accelerating your data analysis cycle. And from this, at least you can cut down a day or two depending on the complexity of data set to understand your data better. And then you can go into detail of it, on how you want to apply your data cleaning laws, how you want to do your feature engineering, how do you want to do your data engineering, all the other aspect, and do further exploratory analysis on the data. So that's about it. Thank you very much.